In this video, I thought I would talk about when is the right time to sleep with a guy. As I've said before, men and women can view this aspect in different ways, and sex can definitely mean something different for females. I think it's important to mention that when you have sex with a guy, nothing changes. And I think where a lot of women go wrong is they think that the act of having sex with a man will change things. They think that because they've had sex with a man, he wants to be with them, he wants a relationship, that's where it's heading. And I think it's really important for me to stress to women and even young girls that are watching this, that when you have sex with a man, there isn't like a light bulb moment in his head where when he has sex with you, his feelings for you will completely change. I think women make this mistake because for a lot of women, when they have sex, they will have that light bulb moment. So they kind of think that because it's like that for them, it's going to be like that with a guy. But on the flip side of that, this is where you also get a lot of advice on social media saying to delay sex. And even myself, I know that I have mentioned this on videos that I've put up in the past, to delay sex. And I still think that is a good idea, to delay sex until you're ready and comfortable with a guy. But I also wanted to make the point of not having what I call sexual milestones. So this, I think, is where girls have standards that are just too rigid, where girls will say that they only have sex once they're in a relationship, that only have sex after 3 months or 3 dates. This is what I think is wrong. Because once you set a sexual milestone in that way, all you're doing is you're just setting a milestone for a guy to basically hit it and quit it. I was kind of thinking the other day about the film Friends with Benefits, when the central character Mia, she has this boundary that she puts in place, that she says she will not have sex until after 5 dates with this man. And what this does is it just creates a milestone for a guy to hit. And just because a guy has waited those 5 dates to have sex with you does not mean he wants to have a relationship with you, doesn't mean he wants to be with you. All you've done is you've given him a target to hit. When you're going out there dating, do not give men the advantage of laying out your standard in that way, saying that this is a target for you to hit. You might get a good guy that really likes you and will go out on 5 dates and then things will progress. But if you're dealing with characters that have narcissistic tendencies, they will just see that as a game. And they'll see it as a game, and they'll go on the 5 dates with you, and then they'll hit it and quit it. And this is what happens to Mia in the film, is that she sets this standard, basically unintentionally, but she sets this standard for this guy to hit. So as a woman, you don't want to set out this standard. You don't want to set out a standard of you are waiting for marriage, you are waiting till you're in a relationship, you are waiting for 3 months or 3 dates. You do not want to set a rigid standard for a guy to hit, because then the guy knows the end game. I also want to stress the point that you can have sex with a guy on a first date and he can ghost you. But you can also have sex with a guy after 2 months and he'll ghost you. You want to be careful of these two scenarios, and I just want to make it clear that if you make a guy wait for sex, it doesn't necessarily translate into a relationship. For some men, sex is purely the end goal, and some men are wired in terms of they will do anything to sleep with a certain woman. Granted, you will get some men, if you say you're waiting for sex, they'll run a mile and they'll disappear. But also you need to watch out for the men that will hang around and the men that will play games. And these men will also hang in there, they'll go on dates because it's a game to them. Girls, you have to realise out there that not all guys out there have good intentions. And yes, there are nice guys out there who will take you out on dates and will treat you well. But you also have to be aware that there are guys out there that will still take you out on dates, that they have narcissistic tendencies. I just want to make the point out there for girls that if this happens to you, you have done absolutely nothing wrong. Some men are just simply not honest with their intentions. You shouldn't be upset about it. You just have to take it as part of life and part of growing up. So if you're still with me and you're still watching this, you'll be thinking, hang on a minute, Claire, so when should I sleep with a man? If I sleep with him too soon, he'll ghost me, and then I can also wait, and then he can still ghost me. So when the hell should I sleep with someone? And the answer's it's gonna be cliche, okay, but sleep with someone when you are 100% ready. Sleep with someone when you're not using sex as a bargaining tool. I think where women go wrong is they use sex as a bargaining tool. They use it as a sex to get a relationship, sex to get a guy to like me, sex to marry me, and sex should not be a bargaining tool. Sex is something that should happen when you're comfortable and ready. A lot of men will just have sex because they like you and they like having sex. That's pretty much it. Go out there and have sex because you want to, and you want to enjoy the experience. If you want to live the healthiest way possible for yourself mentally, I still recommend going on a few dates first to get to know someone. It's better to go slow and steady and then gradually build a rapport with someone before having sex. I think the downside is for women is when women have sex, they can become needy. And it's not the act of sex or having sex too soon that puts men off. It's the fact that women become needy after sex. That is the main thing that puts men off. Is because all the hormones are released when women have sex and they become needy and they want more sex and they want more time with this man. And that's what puts men off. It's not the fact that you've had sex with a man. It's not the fact that you've been too sexual, etc. It's the fact that once you've had sex, you've become needy and you want something more. That's why a lot of men run for the hills, is because once you've had sex, you're expecting things to develop. The main thing is when you go out there and have sex as a woman, you should have sex with no intention or expectation of things to happen, because I think that's where women get into trouble, is when they have sex and they expect a relationship to develop. They expect a man to be exclusive. They expect a man to like them. And this is the number one reason why I say it's best to delay sex until you've kind of made an emotional connection with a man as well, because then once you have made an emotional connection, he is more likely to want to stay with you and be with you. Again, it's not something that will 100% happen. You have to let go of expectation and have sex because you want to, and to not go out there and have sex because you're expecting a relationship.